Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna Kishelle, and today we're going to be doing our Valentine's Day romance vlog. I'm so excited. Okay, so I know what you're thinking, like, girl, romance on Valentine's Day? Yes, absolutely. I'm going to be reading. And here's honey. Can you back up, please? You're in my frame. Back up. Thank you. Good girl. Okay, so I'm going to be reading 4 different romance books in this video. And I'm very excited to read all of them, although some of them may not turn out as good as I had hoped. Now, since I am filming this intro after I've read every single book, I already know that one of these books is just like, girl, what? So we're going to be reading an old school romance. When I say old school, I mean like it was published 15 years ago. It ain't that old. And then we're going to be reading a sports romance, sports celebrity romance. We're going to be reading a second chance romance, and then just a contemporary romance as well. I am so excited. I'm so excited to be reading these books with you guys. And if you have not done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. Today is Wednesday that I'm recording this. So I wanted to get it out to you guys on Tuesday. My goal is to publish every Tuesday and Saturday, but it's not happening. So this is coming out on actual Valentine's Day, which makes me really excited. And yeah, so I guess that's all. We can just go ahead and jump right into it. Now, the first book we're going to read is our old school romance from 15 years ago, 2011. It is called Red Hot by Neobia Bryant, and it is giving me all of the feels and flusters. That's the only book we're going to read, mostly, well, all digitally. The other ones that we're going to read is going to be a mix between physical and audio. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. I've been in pain most of the day, but I am reading Red Hot Love or something like that. Let me see. This is a good old school, looks like a Kamani romance, but it's not. Anyway, this is about this girl named, I'm just gonna lay that right there. This is about this woman named Caitlin who has been cut off by her parents because she went to Paris and spent $40,000 on a credit card that her mama and her daddy paid for. She had the nerve to spend all of this money and then come back and say, not only were they already paying her rent, either one of her 4 older brothers was paying her rent or her parents was paying her $2,000 a month rent, but she was 3 months behind or 2 months behind. So she dropped $40,000 in Paris, and then she needed $6,000 for her rent. And the worst part about it is, like, they had already given her money for the previous 2 months, and she spent it on something else. And then I think she said she's in her mid-20s. Like, what the actual hell? I think she's 24. I don't know. They said mid-20s. So she's pretty young, but she's not young enough to make that stupid mistake. Anyway, her mama got fed up with it and told her daddy and all her brothers. She has 4 older brothers. She told all of them, y'all need to cut her off because y'all have now officially spoiled her rotten, and I'm not finna put up with it, and y'all not finna put up with it either. So that's Caitlin. So one of her older brothers, I think the one that runs the numbers for everybody, all their names start with K. Caden, whatever. All of their names start with K. And since this is the 5th book in a series, all 4 of them had their own previous books, and they just like info dumped all of their information in the first 5 pages. I don't remember all their names, but anyway, one of the brothers he does the financials for the family, and I think he pulls some strings with somebody he does the financials for, who is an office manager at an apartment in the small town that they used to all live in. So they pull some strings with this man named Quentin. Now, Quentin is, I don't know how old he is, but he has a 12-year-old daughter that's been living with him for 2 years because his ex-wife basically decided she didn't want to raise the little girl. And he is the office manager there.
He also does woodworking, and I think that's about it. We get a little bit more of his story. Of course, it's like the info dump type and stuff like that. But they are oil and water. They are oil and water because she is she thinks that he's rude and he thinks that she's a spoiled brat, but obviously she is. I don't think he's rude. I think he has a reason to be treating her like this. As far as the character work goes, it is a rom-com. It was published in 2011, and it's just one of those books, if you know what I'm talking about. I used to rent books like this from the library all the time, and y'all know what types of books I'm talking about. It's those books that, like I said, info dump in the first couple of pages. They run down all of the bad things. Mostly, they might keep one thing about the main character's past a secret, but it's never anything huge, you know? And then they establish why that person either does or does not want to date, you know? So I'm enjoying it. It's like nostalgic for me to be reading this book about these characters who are they're wholesome in the end. Yes, she's spoiled, but we're gonna see her change. We're gonna see her have a heart, and she's gonna have a soft heart for the daughter. We already know that she's gonna have a soft heart for the daughter. We already know that like she's going to change her mind about certain things and certain ways of life. We know that he is going to not only be attracted to her but see her softness. She's going to see how manly and gentlemanly he is. But you know, all the things. The only thing that I am cringing about already before it's happened is the third act conflict, because I know it's coming. But other than that, y'all, it's quick, smooth, easy read. I'm 25% of the way through. I just want to give y'all an update before I finished or got too far into the book. So yeah, that's where I am now. Okay, I'm gonna talk to y'all for just a little minute before my class gets here. And I'm gonna give y'all a fill in a little bit on the book I've been reading, Red Hot by, not sure, I forgot the name. Okay, I already told you I was like giving nostalgic feelings and things like that. One thing I remember about books like this is that when you're reading a series, I'm on book number 5. It's not necessarily, in this book, it's not necessarily about her older brothers, but there are scenes with her older brother and their wives, and they're just like in the moment being lovey-dovey. And I'm like, okay, this scene was written for everybody who read the first 4 books, and they are just craving these people again. They love these characters so much that they just want to listen to them again, or they want to hear about them again. And it wasn't annoying, it was just like a note. There are some funny things happening in this book, okay? They are such odd matches, and they are just so not for each other, that they clash so much that they're literally just getting under each other's skin. Another thing is this, it's just like, I don't know, there was something else I had to tell y'all. When I think about it, I'll let y'all know. Do y'all see this? I have to go to work in this. I am from Memphis. We don't do this. Do y'all see this? Girl, you can see the snowflakes. Look how big these snowflakes is. I am from Memphis. All right? I'm a country girl. We don't do this.
Okay, y'all, I'm at work and it's just a little bit of snow flurries, but not that many. It's not bad. I was driving here and I was being dramatic when I was recording, talking to y'all. But y'all, it's not even like the snow is barely sticking to the cars if they're sitting still. It's not bad at all where I am. However, where I used to live is bad. Like the studio I used to work for is closed today because of the snow. I'm just taking my twists out because I want my hair to be curly for this class and the next class if we don't cancel. But even back home in Memphis, they have a lot of snow, a lot of snow. I think a lot of people have been off from work. And as I've gotten older, obviously I've gotten more mature. I know that a snow day for some people for a week, like a snow day all week, being out or being off work all week means you don't get paid for a week. For some people, I know that they may not eat for a week, especially for kids who rely on the school to give them food. Like, you know, I know all these things. So when I say that I want it to snow and I want a snow day, I'm really just being dramatic. I'm being childish, I guess you could say. But I know that some people can't afford to just sit home because it snowed. So I thank God that, you know, I am in a position where it's not snowing and I can come to work. Thank God. I am about 70% through red hot and I like it, but there are just some details that are just, they're kind of getting under my skin. I feel like sometimes the writing could be more detailed. For instance, the main character Caitlin, our female main character, will say that she had a conversation with Quentin and it sounds like it would have been funny, and I would have loved to have seen that or read about that on page. Some things that she's learning for the first time since this is her first real job. Oh, I skipped over a part. She had to obviously get a job because her parents and her 4 older brothers cut her off. So she had to get a job. And it's very much so like, it's a good job. She'll be fine. Like she'll be making decent money, but she was spending so much money and not realizing it because her dad or her parents were footing the credit card bill or her brothers were paying for the rent. Wow, even that is crazy. To be in your mid-20s and this is your first time having to come to terms with paying your own rent, that's crazy. Or paying your own bills in general. I paid my first bill I know when I was 16 because my parents made me pay my own cell phone bill. So not having any idea, she had a conversation with one of her older brothers about how much money it costs for her to cover all of her bills, her finances and things like that. And she was basically floored. She was flabbergasted by how much money it takes just to live. And I'm like, yeah, girl. Like I said, she's in her mid-20s. So she's of the age that she would have been figuring this out anyway. She just didn't go to college. She didn't, take that route to go get a degree and then get a job because her parents and her brothers are very well off because they own their own ranch. So she has not had to lift a pretty little pinky basically her entire life. So anyway, that goes back to me saying, like, I wish that some of the conversations that she had with Quentin were on page. I wish that some of the things that she had, like she had a beautiful moment with Lay. I know it was just really nice of her to do something for Lay for her birthday, which is Quentin's daughter. And I would have loved to have read about that. This book is 300 pages long, and I'm trying to figure out, like, if we're not getting the conversations, if we're not getting the cute moments, like what are we talking about? But we are getting is some angst and hot, steamy longing on both parts, on Quint's part and on what's her name, Caitlin's part, because they really like each other, but she didn't want to just be a one-night stand and he respected that, and now they're trying to figure out if they want to date. So in the midst of all of that, they're like, oh, but he fine now, and he looking at her like, she looking good, So I shouldn't have done that. No, it's frizzy. I think that's about it. Like I told y'all last night, you can just tell that this is the 5th book in a series because of those little moments that honestly this book could do without. I would trade those little moments between her older brothers and their wives for moments between Caitlin and Quentin. I would trade that because I need more moments between Caitlin and Quentin. I need more moments between Caitlin and Lay, or Quentin and, actually the moments between Quentin and his daughter Lay are cute. They're beautiful. I love them. Oh, speaking of that, some shit finna hit the fan. Something just popped off in this past chapter that I just got done reading. I'm pretty sure I'm on chapter like 13 or something. It's finna go down, and I'm really interested to see how they handle this. We are now at the third act conflict, and yeah, I kind of saw this coming, but not really. If I'm gonna be honest, not really. It was a thought in my head, but I ain't really think that this is where it was gonna go. And why wouldn't I think that? Why wouldn't I think that this is what the author was gonna pull out in the third act conflict? So anyway, I'm enjoying it, but it's really giving, I would read this in high school when I'm laying in the bed, sick, cramping, and can't go to school, eating cookies at 11 o'clock a.m. when I should have been in, fourth period, So I will be doing this one class. It is a birthday party that y'all saw me set up. It's a birthday party. I'm going to do that one. And then if the snow doesn't get too bad, which it probably won't, if it doesn't get too bad, I have a 3 o'clock class that I'm going to do. It's only 3 people in that one. So I could go ahead and sketch that real quick. I don't want to sketch it and then we don't use them. So that's the only reason why I'm holding off on sketching that. And it's only 3 people. I could literally set that up in 30 minutes. But I don't want to sketch it and we don't have the class. But the way it's looking, we're going to have the class. So I might go ahead and run off and sketch that and wait until they get here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the music on. That's the hardest part. Like, what do little girls want to listen to? Because some of these little girls think they're grown. I'll give y'all another update when I'm closer to done with the book. Okay, did y'all watch Bird Box a long time ago when it first came out? Y'all remember when, like, the thing, the entity, oh my goodness, is that dandruff? No, is that paint? Anyway, do y'all remember when the entity or whatever was coming and it would be like a rustling of leaves? Y'all, since it is snowing, or since it's about to snow, the rustling of the leaves is crazy, and I keep thinking about Bird Box. That's number 1. Number 2, the wind sounds like it is trying to knock this building over. The wind sounds like it's coming to collect rent. And it's the 3rd, so open up. It's giving I should be at home. Yeah. Yep. Our main character is starting to slip back into her old ways, and it's really upsetting that we weren't able to see this in real time. Right now, all we're getting is Quentin talking about how he noticed it past tense, and now it's come to fruition, and they're like, the third act conflict. They're arguing about it. One thing I don't like about this book is so many time jumps. Every now and then it'll be like 1 month later, 2 months later, 6 months later. There's been, 4 time jumps. And in that time, we could have just been spending time with the characters. We could be listening in on these conversations. We could be there when Caitlin starts to revert back to her old ways. And so it's not just like a slap in the face and this argument is out of nowhere. And I'm struggling because right now it's like a strong 3. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't have anything wrong with it. I just don't like it. I wish there was more meat on the bones. So right now I am almost done. I am 80% of the way through, and I'll update y'all when I finish. He cares for her.
Oh, you can't do that right now because I'm about to add my input because I read the book twice. The book ain't that good. Okay.
You read it. Why you don't like it?
Let me tell you why.
Okay,
because one, he's full of shit. Okay. We're not going for that. We treat women right around these parts, partner.
You hear it?
You understand what I'm saying?
We do. Now he's talking about some. Well, I did care for her. No, nigga, you told her you loved her. Manipulation. 3 chapters ago. Yep. Now all of a sudden you just care for her. That ain't what we doing. That ain't what we doing. Exactly.
And we not going.
We ain't going.
Got me fucked up around these parts.
And do. She said no. Another time jump. Another time jump. Look at that. Would you look at that?
86% of the way through. And another time jump. I can't make this up. Guess what we have here? 87%. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? 89%. Hey y'all, back at work. Okay, so I'm gonna give this book a 2.5. I think for all the reasons I've already told y'all, I don't look at my hair. Jesus Christ. For all the reasons I already told y'all, I don't need to go back into it. I think that one other thing I want to say, two things. One, they never really mentioned their exact age gap. They never really said, well, I think they may have said she's 24, but they never said how old Quint was. So I would have liked to have known that, but I know that these books are ambiguous about certain things for that reason. So maybe you can feel like you can put yourself in their shoes, maybe. And then another thing, I think that they were very good. The author, she was very good about showing the shortcomings of Caitlin, but not necessarily of Quentin. Let me rephrase that. They were good about Caitlin being told or having an inner monologue of her shortcomings and knowing exactly what she needed to work on, but they weren't good about Quentin. He just kind of seemed like he had it all figured out. And since there was a big age gap, we can assume that there's a decent age gap. Maybe that's how the author wanted him to come across. But when it came to how he treated Caitlin, I didn't really like how he spoke to her about certain things. I don't think he had enough patience for her, for somebody that he claimed to have loved. I just think I wasn't feeling him by the end, or not even by the end. I just wasn't feeling him in their relationship when it came to addressing the issues. And I would have liked to have seen them work through the issues a little more. Of course, they got over their third act conflict, as y'all saw. There was an epilogue 1 year later. Can we all roll our eyes at how many it's funny because I told y'all about the time jumps, and at that point there had been like 3 or 4. I'm not kidding you. There was a time jump at 85%, 86, 87, 89, and the epilogue. I was like, can we not write just hello? It was cute. And since I'm changing the vlog that it was in, I had a good enough time for it to be like a romance for Valentine's Day. That's all that matters, right? Anyway, I'm about to do some work and I don't have an audiobook to listen to, so I'm gonna update y'all when I start reading the next book. I think I already know what it is for this Valentine's Day vlog. I think I already know what it is, but I can't wait to tell you about it. See you later. Okay, now how come I went up in them people's library and got all these books? How come I did that? Huh? I went in there and the nostalgia hit me hard. Okay, so first of all, I came over here to renew my library card because I thought they had the rewrite here. But no, on the website, they had the rewrite down because the website for my library is the website for all the libraries, I think, in Georgia. So I didn't have the filter on to this, and it's not in alphabetical order, so I couldn't. Anyway, I didn't have the filter on, so I didn't know that the rewrite was not here. But I'm gonna read that book in this vlog. That is the one book I really want to read. I might just have to buy it. Anyway, why did I go in there and get all of these books? Why go in the people's library and do that? So we have one book that I do want to read for this vlog is Drunk on Love by Jasmine Guillory.
they had a lot of her books in there, like 6, I want to say. No Ordinary Love keeps coming up on Kindle, so we'll see if we get to that one. The Perfect Date I just ran into while I was in there. Best thing about book shopping and library browsing. This is by Evelyn Lozada. The Evelyn Lozada? I didn't even check the author's name. The Evelyn Lozada. It says with Holly Lawrence. I'm gonna have to look that up. That's crazy. Out. It's about an unwed mother who's a fake girlfriend to a baseball player, a professional baseball player. But I don't know what these two are about. But I know what they're about, but I forgot. This one I've seen around, and I kind of want to read. A Love Like the Sun. I think this is like a friends to lovers romance. Yep, they've known each other since childhood. And then he comes back to the city. Okay, cool. Probably a lot more to it than that. And then this one I just got for shits and giggles because I love Beverly Jenkins. It was hard for me to pick which one to get because I've read so many of her books. But yeah, this one I think is about, I don't know. Who cares? It's Beverly Jenkins. So yeah, I got all of those books, and not to mention the one I already have at the house and the one I really, really, really want to read. I'm not going to read all of those this week. So I honestly might toss this one out because I already read an old school romance. And the one that in this stack that I'm most likely going to read is Drunk on Love, although I didn't know it was this thick. So yeah. Oh, I'm excited. Okay. So I decided to go ahead and read Drunk on Love by Jasmine Guillory. And I'm liking it. I am enjoying the plot. Now, this book is about, did I tell y'all when I was in the library what this is about? I don't remember. But let me go ahead and tell you now. This book is about a winery owner. Her name is, let me see if I can remember, Margot. She co-owns a winery with her brother Elliot. It was left to them by their uncle. Yeah, please excuse honey. She ain't been playing with her toy all day. And as soon as I turn this camera on, all of a sudden, she has an interest in her toy. So, sorry about that. And then there is, our male main character is something Williams. Oh, what's his first name? Justin? Luke. Okay, so let's set the scene. Margot decides that she's going out for a drink because she has had a rough week. She went out of town. She had a lot of business to handle. She comes back and her brother has hired somebody without her knowledge. Now, since Margot is the one who spends the most time on the floor at the winery, she's like, damn, Elliot, you could at least ran this by me because if this doesn't work out, it's on me. And I have to deal with it. But, you know, they have a little squabble because there's a teeny bit of tension between them about how the winery should be run, marketing, and the types of events they want to have at the winery. Then Margot goes out to, they're in Napa, California, if I didn't mention that. She goes out to have a little drinky drink at this spot that is owned by this woman named Spencer, Skylar, something like that. But anyway, she and her friend at this bar, they're just like talking, having a good time. And her friend is kind of like, I know you see him, you know. And Margot's like, girl, he looks too young for me, no thank you. And her friend's like, no, but yeah, you are actually. So they start talking. Luke and what's her name? Margot start talking. They are having a great time. The conversation is flowing, everything. And the one thing they decided not to talk about is work, because they were both kind of stressed about their jobs or lack thereof or whatever. So they ended up, so we flashed to Luke's perspective, and he has just decided to stop working at one of the tech companies down in Silicon Valley. He was having some issues with their demographics, microaggressions, and I think overall workload. So he decided to take a break from that, come up to Napa, where he's from. He's from the area, and just kind of take it easy until he figures out his next steps. So these two meet. They're loving each other's company, talking, have a good time. They're telling each other funny stories, so we love it. They go outside, and they're like, well, my house where I stay in is 4 blocks this way. He's like, well, mine is 2 blocks this way. So they walk to his house, and they do what they do. Okay. That's not the issue. The issue is the next morning they wake up, she goes to work, and her brother Elliot comes in. And he's like, oh, here are the 2 new hires. Meet, let's call her Louise. I don't know what her name is. Meet Louise and Luke. So she just had a one night stand with one of her employees. Okay. And that's where it kicks off. Now, like I said, I'm really enjoying this book. I love the pacing. I love the plot. I love the side characters. I am just kicking my feet. Now, I did start reading this physically last night because I forgot that I had gotten the audiobook yesterday on Libby. So I read about 60 pages of this physically, and then this morning I started listening to the audiobook. I will say that I also enjoyed the narrators. Okay, so as a character, Margot's personality is like so animated. She and Luke are kind of animated. Could you back up? Let me get your eye. Eye booger. So she is kind of animated. She's dramatic about certain things, and when she's talking to her friend and, you know, relaying the message about what happened, you could just see it. I could literally see how this could play out on screen, and it's a really good time. It's funny. I can tell that Jasmine writes really she's really good at writing funny dialogue and just funny scenes in general. Same thing with Luke, but he's a little bit younger than her. She's in her mid-30s. He's late 20s. And he is suffering from like letting people believe what they want to believe and not really telling them the truth when he's in a tough situation. And it's funny because it's harmless here, but sometimes I can create huge problems. But in this story, it's not. I think what she chose to do with Luke's character and what he may or may not be saying is spot on. It's perfect. Like I said, I think the plot is well paced. I also like how there is a little bit of tension between Margot and her brother Elliot, but nothing really crucial or really threatening. And she's also, in her thoughts to herself, she's also kind of doubting why, or she's trying to think about all of the possible reasons why she could have been left as co-owner of the winery. Like I said, their uncle left it to both of them. So since they are so different, I'm enjoying how she is handling that. I enjoy looking into her mind and getting to know that. We also are getting a little bit more about Luke's job and like what they're up to a little bit. We're getting like a sneak peek into what they're up to at the job since he's no longer there through the lens of one of his previous coworkers. The only thing I don't like about this book, and this happened early on and it's happening a little bit now, is that like, let's say they're at the bar and she tells a story. When we flip to Luke's perspective, he is kind of rehashing everything she just said, except it's just from his perspective. And I don't really like, because this book is so long, like we don't need so much rehashing. I think that I do enjoy getting both of their perspectives, but, and this is just me being nitpicky. I just think there's just one thing in particular that like from his perspective, just kind of ran down the list of what happened and what he was thinking at the time. Almost like we weren't there when we were reading about it from Margot's perspective. And this is written in third person. So the way that the perspectives are flipped is really interesting because like it's not like it's first person. It's still third person. So that's me being nitpicky only because it takes time to rehash it. And it's like, okay, Okay, y'all, I was there. Did you forget that I was there when this happened the first time? But other than that, y'all, I am enjoying it. When it comes to the spice, it's mostly closed door, but what they do say and what they do, you know, they heat it up a little bit and then it's closed door. And I like that too, because of the way that this is written. I mean, it goes so well. But look at this cover. Isn't that pretty? If everything works out right, you guys are going to see that journal video before you see this vlog. And I'm so excited about that one. I made a huge mess, so I had to clean that up. That's like the one thing. If I had my dream home, I would have a place set up where I could just go in, set my drums up and start recording. But since I don't, I have to put the lights up, I have to put the stand up, I have to put everything out, lay everything out, design my desk, do what I need to do, and then take everything down and clean up. And I should be less messy. I should, if y'all just saw a clip of like what it looks like. I'm a little embarrassed, but I be in the zone. And I just be like moving and stuff. So I only got the first page done today, and all of those 2 pages probably took me like an hour. I'm embarrassed to say that because like it's been so long since I've done collages in my journals, and sometimes I get self-conscious about how to do a collage, where to put it, and just about how it's going to look when I take a picture of it and post it as the thumbnail. I'm always thinking about that, and I think I think it just takes so long because I'm so much in my head. So once I get back into the groove of putting my journals online again, I think I will be able to do it in less time. But until then, y'all, this is taking a minute. So sorry if these videos are out of order. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to update y'all probably when I get to work. I have to work tonight. I only have 1 class, but I have to get there pretty early because the class is growing, thankfully, as we approach Valentine's Day. The classes they're filling up. So I'm going to keep listening to this while I eat, edit, and do the things. And yeah, I'll give y'all an update when, I did say I'm about 40%. I'm about 40-ish% of the way through. I think we can finish it tonight. That's my goal. So yeah, see y'all later. Okay, y'all, so we're at work, everything's set up. I am now waiting on everybody to get here, so this has got to be real quick. I am 60% of the way in. I'm listening to the audiobook. Let me just say, I'm giggling. I'm loving everything. I'm rooting for them. Something just happened that made it perfect for them and their relationship. And I'm just like, why didn't I think of that happening sooner? Do y'all ever do that when y'all read books? Like, why didn't I think of that? Because I didn't write the book. I can tell that, like, this makes me want to read all of her books because I love the time that they spend together. I love them just talking and, you know, and also it's no longer closed doors. Okay. She opened the door with their second little scene that they have together. She opened the door wide open. So now that they're being all cutesy and cuddly, I'm like, okay, is this going to last forever? Or are we going to have a little surprise at the 75% mark? I don't know. One thing I do want to say about, what's his name? Luke, is that sometimes he seems very confident in what he's doing, what he's saying, and going after Margot. And then sometimes he seems very insecure or unsure is a better word. And I'm like, I wonder if she is making him unsure in just that part of his life and he's confident everywhere else. If he's unsure about going after Margot and telling her his feelings and things like that. And then why though? Is it because of his age? Why is he so unsure or so unconfident? I know that's not a word when it comes to Margot, but in other places, well, when it comes to his parents, he's a little unsure, but that's his parents. So I can understand why he's a little more timid and a little hesitant to stand up and say things with a strong voice, you know. So I get that. When it comes to Margot, we're seeing her softer side when it comes to her brother and how she got to be co-partners in the winery. And I love it. They're opening up to each other a little bit, a lot of it actually. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. That's it. That's it for now, y'all. I'm enjoying it. Let's go ahead and get this class started. I'm so excited. I'm nervous, but I also am like, I can't wait for this class to be over so I can finish this book. Okay, so I'm going to give Drunken Love a 3 point. I think I'm gonna settle on a 3.75. I'm going to give this book a 3.75. I'm giving you guys all of the reasons, this, that, and the third, about how I felt about the third act conflicts and how I thought that she was being a little more harsh and just not giving as much as she should when it came to their conflict in the end, because we all knew that this was going to be a conflict. And maybe she just didn't think that this would come up, and I understand that, but then once it was presented to her, she should be a little more, she should have a little more grace for him. I don't know why Margot didn't have enough grace for him. So that was upsetting. Honey is literally throwing her toy. Yes, I called your name. You are throwing your toy around in my frame. Get your toy. Now go on. Thank you. So yeah, those are my final thoughts on Drunk on Love. This book did make me want to read a lot more of her writing. I enjoyed the conversations. I enjoyed the romance. In some aspects, I believed it, and then in other aspects, I was like, But that's just me being nitpicky. I enjoyed this book a lot. And I do recommend it to anybody who's looking for just a contemporary romance. Two people finding each other and falling in love, y'all. That's just, it is what it is. That's what it is. So if you like this type of thing. Rewrite. I don't know why. I don't know why I had such high hopes for this book, and I have just been so drawn to this book. Maybe it's the cover, maybe it's the color scheme. I don't know what it was, but I was like, I have got to read this book. So yeah, I purchased it, and I'm happy I did. But I didn't know that they were this young. So let me give y'all a little breakdown of what's going on. So Timmy and Wale used to date, and now Timmy they have both moved on. Wale is on this show called what is it called? He is on this dating show. I forgot what it's called. This is set in London, South London, I think. And Wale has gone on this dating show. So Timmy is in her feelings because she has seen him on the dating show. She didn't seen him on Black Twitter getting, hyped up and then ultimately dragged for something that he did. I want to say this is a little bit, it's reminiscent of Love Island, but I didn't watch Love Island, so I'm thinking that that's where this is going. And Timmy is kind of struggling. She has written a book or two, but they're just not getting picked up. Nobody is buying them. Her editor, publisher person, Heyy, is really supportive, but there's just nothing coming in. So Timmy gets an opportunity to ghost write while she's in this phase of waiting things out. Oh, because also her editor, publisher, whatever, this person that she is kind of close to, Heyy, at her business that she works at, whatever. Heyy is like, hey girl, so you said you was working on a book. Are you working on a book? And Timmy's personality is stick her foot in her mouth. Kind of reminds me of Queenie, the book that I'm reading and not reading all at the same time. It's also kind of reminding me of Awkward Black Girl. So she's giving the impression of she's gonna say what she needs to say to kind of get herself off the hook. Oh yeah, I wrote so much on that book. Yes. And then her editor's like, okay, so when is it gonna be ready? And she's like, oh. So her personality is just kind of quirky and fun, and I'm liking that. I am enjoying that. So she gets this call to become a ghostwriter for a celebrity, and it turns out that the celebrity is Wale. And she's like, celebrity? That nigga ain't no celebrity. I knew him when he was working. I knew him when he was working at the shelter. Okay, I knew him way back when, and he'd do one dating show, and now he a celebrity. Girl, bye. So that's been fun to follow, like how they got there. Now on that journey, we're also getting flashbacks. This is a single perspective, first person written book, so we're only getting her perspective unless something changes. We're only getting Timmy's perspective. And it's so funny because I used to teach a girl named Timmy, but I'm able to isolate the two. Like, when I'm reading this book, I'm not thinking of my student, obviously, thankfully. But while we're on this ride for them, on this journey with Timmy, trying to figure out what she's doing now and how, if she's going to write, like be a ghostwriter for this celebrity book about her ex-boyfriend, we're also getting flashbacks to how Timmy and Wale met. I think we had another flashback of them just kind of hanging out, chilling at the house. And we also just had a scene of how they broke up. And I want to say they are pretty young. I think she's 22, because I want to say she graduated from high school 4 years ago. So she's in the 22, 23 arena. The reason they broke up was so flimsy. I understand why it would have been hurtful to find something like that out on both sides. I feel like the person who initiated the breakup, they just had too much dip on their chip. You know, I just feel like at the time, yes, feelings should have been hurt, but there's no reason they could have talked about it and talked through it, especially since the other person could prove to them, like, hey, I know you're upset and I know you saw what you saw, but like, this is what's really happening and this is actually how it panned out. So I hated that breakup scene. I hated that that's how they actually broke up, because like, really? But again, they were young and nothing had to become so. Another thing though, it wasn't so explosive and so like catastrophic. So I can say, give points there, like, well, thank God, you know, like nobody had to die or nothing like that. So the thriller girl in me just came out. But yeah, so I am on chapter 10, which means I am, I went right past it. I'm listening to an audiobook, or I was listening to an audiobook while I was at work. Now I am running some errands for work, and I'm gonna keep listening to it. So I'm on there's only 270 pages. Basically, I'm on page 60. So yeah, I'll give y'all an update when I get about 50% of the way through, or just when I pick up the camera again. That's when I give y'all an update. Also, I went to Starbucks and I got the pink drink. It's kind of good. It's kind of good. I was hoping it wasn't going to be good, and it is. So I'm upset. Okay, so I went home to let the dog out, and dang, I put my book up. Damn it, I hate when I do that. I hate when I can't hold up the physical copy and I have the physical copy. This booktube stuff is kicking my ass. Okay, so took my dog out. Now I have to run to the library and the grocery store. So I'm still listening to the audiobook. I have a lot to say. Okay, let me look at my notes. Hold on. Okay, to me, we have two pretty big issues when it comes to Timmy writing. Okay, we have two pretty big issues when it comes to writing this memoir. Number one, Timmy is interviewing his friends, family members, ex-co-workers, you know, people that are close to him or have been close to him, and, you know, to get a sense of who he was, how he grew up, who he is, so that his memoir can go against his stereotypes. But the problem is, it's dredging up old memories of why she used to like him. And he's not in a space, from what we see. Now, I'm speaking from like earlier on in the book, around the 25, no, maybe around the 40-30% mark. He's at a place where he's not really ready to like her and be with her. Because all of that would be cute. Like them dredging up old memories of him, or getting stuff
that would remind him of his childhood, and bonding over certain things would be cute, fine, and dandy if he wasn't just on a reality TV show kissing 4, 5, 6 girls, and then started dating one of them named Kalichi. And then on top of that, he's doing interviews and going on podcasts to promote the show or promote what he's doing next. But since people know him because of the show, they're asking him questions about love and who he likes and things like that. And Timmy's not coming up. Actually, he brought up a whole nother woman who is not a woman on the TV show or Timmy. So I'm like, are we supposed to be rooting for this romance? Because I'm not feeling very romantic. Okay. And then I don't like that some of the things that Timmy is finding out about him are so big and so heavy that she didn't already know them. So now she's finding new things out about him, but they already dated. It just seems awkward. I'm not going to say I don't like it. It just seems awkward. So I feel bad for Timmy because she's in this awkward position, listening to people talk about him in a good way, a negative way. She's surrounding herself in his world, in his bubble, and he broke her heart. So it's not feeling balanced because we're only getting her perspective. For all we know at this point, he could be living in the clouds, like just like la 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 la. You know, I feel for Timmy. I'm so hurt for her, child. I'm just so hurt for her, and I don't even know if I want. And then Timmy as a character, you can just tell she's young because she lies when the truth will do. Okay, she could have just told the truth in some of these situations. Some of them I understand why she lied, because she was scared, and you know, there is no reason to lie. You should always tell the truth. However, as young as she is, I think she's, like I said, between 22 and 24. As young as she is, and these big things are happening when she has an agent and book deals that are possible, I can understand that. And in most cases, she does try to make it right, but then she turn around and she lie again. So I'm like, hello, what's up, girl? So yeah, I am actually much further along in the book. All of those thoughts are from like the 40-ish% mark. Now I'm about 80% done with the book. I only have like an hour left in the audiobook, and now I can tell that Wale and Timmy are doing their best to like bridge that gap of hurt that they had from their breakup. They're going through what really happened. They're talking through what really happened, and you know, saying like, well, I don't understand this. Okay, well, could you explain that? You know, they're doing the best that they can. And Wale is so supportive. He's so cute and kind, and I am just devastated because I know this third act conflict is about to blow this shit up. And this is one of those things that's like, I get it, and I would understand why this would break the trust that Wale has built for Timmy. Now, back in the day, it was on him, but as they live and breathe right now, this is on her, and I'm really upset with her, for her. I'm just like, oh girl, you done got yourself in a pickle. So it's feeling romantic in some spots now, like towards the middle part, towards the 50% mark and on. It's feeling a little bit more romantic, but also since we know what's going on in the background with Timmy, it's kind of like, ugh. Oh girl, how you gonna get out of this? Hey y'all. Okay, so let's do a quick, I'm gonna sit right here. I'm doing my hair. Are we friends or not? Okay, it was wash day. It's been wash day for a couple of days. Is this a style? If I did my edges, twist in the back, button 2 knots in the front. What y'all think? Anyway, so I finished. First of all, I finished Drunk on Love and didn't tell y'all. In this clip, I told y'all because editing magic, but in real time, I ain't told y'all yet. Then I read this book. Let me talk about this book real quick, and then I'm gonna talk about this one. Okay. So I even filmed myself reading this at work, but y'all, every single time it was time for me to talk about No Ordinary Love, I looked a hot mess, and I would like record the whole clip like, okay, it's fine. I would go back to edit the clip of me talking about this book, and I'd be like, I would rather come to y'all in banter knots than to come to y'all looking how I was looking. Okay, cool. So let's talk about No Ordinary Love real quick, or should I just save this for my recap?
I might just save this for my recap, but I'm gonna leave y'all a little spoiler right now. It was pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. She is an R&B star and he is a Major League Baseball player, and they did like a publicity stunt type of romance. Did a video together for her new song, No Ordinary Love, and love sure did ensue. This was an interesting case because she was going through a divorce for the better part of this book. Since she was so famous and so wealthy, it took a long time, and that made this book a little different than any other romance that I have read. Now, let's talk about the rewrite. I wish I had it could sit somewhere so y'all could see it. So I finished the rewrite as I was out running errands today. I am just really upset that this wasn't a 5-star for me. I thought it was going to be that, but some moments were just a little too awkward. They were a little too unromantic, but I will say this though. When it was time for him to be romantic, Wale was very, very romantic. He was very sweet, kind, and attentive to Timmy. And it was nice to see. They just were in a place where, you know, they were trying to build trust with each other. And you know what? Honestly, this is my fault because I know that I don't like second chance romances. I'm not saying a lot right now. So let me try to put this into a coherent thought. This piece of hair should have been in a twist back here. The third act conflict is exactly about what we thought it was going to be about. And I was surprised that they could come back from it. I was on the verge of thinking that this was going to be one of those romance books where they just didn't even get back together, child. I was literally thinking, how is she going to get out of this? Because it wasn't very nice. It just wasn't, I don't know. So I was laughing and smiling at the end of the book where he did get a chance to read the memoir that she wrote for him. There were some hiccups and some issues about whether they were going to continue the process, but he did get a chance to read it. And it was just so cute how he read it and what he had to say about it and what, you know, she had written about him and for him, I thought was very romantic, and I enjoyed it for the most part. And I think the 3 is exactly what it needs. It's a 3. I would recommend it for people who love or who just like second chance romances. I'm not that type of person. I can't think of a second chance romance that I actually just loved. What's that by Tia Williams? The second chance romance that she wrote, 7 Days in June. I wasn't in love with that one like everybody else was. So I'm just not a second chance romance girly, y'all. But if you are, this book is for you. Now that I've said that, y'all, I'm going to finish my hair and then we're gonna end it out right here. Just give me a second. Hey y'all, okay, so we read 4 different books, one of them digitally, which was Red Hot by Neovia Bryant. I gave that a 2.5. And then we read Drunk on Love by Jasmine Guillory, which I gave this a 3.5. And then we read No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel. And I gave this also 3.5, I believe. And then we read The Rewrite by Lizzie Demilola Blackburn. Gave this a solid 3.25. Okay, so I feel like that is a success for our romance vlog. Thank you so much, guys. I'll hold them like this. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to my romance vlog, which I do one every single year around the summertime, which means there's another romance vlog coming your way in a couple of months. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.